Now that we have Stripe set up, we can close out the dashboard. You can refer to it in the future for any test charges. Of course, it gives us a lot of great charts and visual understanding about the charges and payments that come in through our Stripe account. But for right now, we're going to focus on making these two buttons functional, add to cart and remove from cart. Now that we've done the work of not only integrating Stripe with our front end, but also connecting it with this cart provider to start working with Use Shopping Cart, it's incredibly easy to make robust shopping carts with the help of the Use Shopping Cart hook. So we can just head to Add to Cart, and here within Add to Cart, we're going to need to have access to our product data. So back within our product page, we will need to send down the product data as a prop, both to Add to Cart as well as remove from cart. We'll pass down both of those. But starting with Add to Cart, we'll destructure product from props, and we'll bring in the Use Shopping Cart hook and execute it. We're going to get back a number of values and functions on this object that we can destructure. What's important to us for our component here is that we want to add an item to the cart. So fortunately, there is an add item function from the hook. To use it, we can just add an on click to our button and provide an inline arrow function. And when we call add item, we're just going to need to pass down the entire product, all of the product data. At the moment, we don't have anything to show visually what's in our cart once we add something to it, but there is data that we can get back from Use Shopping Cart, such as the cart count, the number of items in our cart, as well as the cart details. So let's take a look at both of those. For now, let's just console log them and see what result we get for each of them once we attempt to add a product. So let's save both of these files. Let's try adding our first product to cart. So right now it's at 0, no cart details. We hit add to cart, and we see in the last log, when we added our bath towels, our cart count became 1. And within cart details, we can see that this is an object with a property that has the SKU, the unique product ID, and within that, associated with that property, we have an object containing a bunch of our information, our product information, including some extra values like formatted value and value here. Those two in particular are functions. And if we clear this out and add to cart again, well, naturally it's incremented to 2. What you can also do, if we head back to add to cart, is you can pass in a second argument, which is the count. So if you wanted, for example, it to be incremented by 2 at a time, we could easily do that. So right now it's at 2, but if we add to cart, now it becomes 4. We don't have a means of removing it just yet. I'll show you that in just a second, but this gives us an opportunity to understand how it works. It's stored, these cart values are stored on a key of the same name in local storage. So you can see the total price here, the cart count, and cart details. So be aware that another value that we can get from Use Shopping Cart is the total price. And that's going to give us the value that we see here stored in local storage that 4 of these bath towels are equal to. Now, one way that you can make sure to clear out all of these values is just to clear out the keys that you have in local storage. And when you refresh, it's going to be reinitialized, and the count of items in the cart is going to be set to 0 with no details. Now, let's see how to, once we remove all of these additional values from Use Shopping Cart and changing our count value, before we move on to removing an item from our cart, let's see not only how to add an item to our cart, but how to notify users that an item has been added. It would be nice to have at the bottom of our page a kind of toast notification to show users your cart has been updated by 1 or this item has been added to your cart. For that, we're going to use another package that we've installed on our client called React Hot Toast. This is another dependency that we're going to need to set up using a React context provider that the package gives us. And what the React Hot Toast package provides is a provider called Toaster, I believe. So we're going to grab Toaster from React Hot Toast. And you can import it like this as a default import or as a named import. So with Toaster, we just need to put this somewhere within our component tree. It doesn't need to have a closing tag, just an opening tag. And we'll create the component Toaster and set its position so we can determine exactly where it appears on our page. Top left, center right, bottom left, center, or right. I'm going to choose bottom center. So once we include that, we can head back to Add to Cart. And instead of just adding an item and doing nothing afterwards, we want to have some confirmation that it worked. Let's create a separate function that we'll call when we execute onClick. And we're going to go ahead and call this handle add item. So we'll make that function above our return. And here, first of all, is where we're going to add the item, add the product to our cart. And right after that, we're going to import Toast. So we import Toast from React Hot Toast. And we can use the success property to create a toast message according to the product that's been added. So we'll use a template literal and say product.name has been added to your cart, or is added to your cart. So when we add any new item, we're going to get immediate confirmation that it works when we click this by saying our bath towels have been added to our cart.